I guess it's time to get started, everyone. Oh, there's a friend in the back. Hi, friend in the back. Did you sign in at the front? Okay. What is your name? Lupe. Very good to meet you. You have, okay. On the Sunday evening when he teaches it? When he's subbed. Oh, got it. Cool. Welcome back. All right, everyone else kind of knows we got to be comfy, sit on something comfortable. Pay no attention to all the equipment over there. I'm exploring new ideas on how to stream better for YouTube so you can watch these and have it sound good. And hi, welcome. Did you sign up for this class online? Okay, thank you. What is your name? Camila? Camille, good to meet you. Please grab whatever you need to be comfortable when you sit down. I was explaining why there's so much equipment over there. So we stream these on YouTube, so they're there for you to do later. And I'm a tech geek, and I try to find a way to get the best audio and video. And it's challenging because if you put the microphone way over there, it doesn't pick up your voice very well. But if you put the microphone right here, it doesn't pick up the music at all. So you got to do both. So I have a microphone in front of my face, and I've got a microphone over there, and there's a mixer down there, and that's why it looks like there's so much, because I want the online recording to have you got to hear the metronome, right? And if you're online, you can't hear that. So that's why there's so much stuff over there. But if you ever want to go back online and do these practices again, they're all on my YouTube channel. Or don't. Before we start, there are a couple of quick announcements. I've been alluding to the fact that I'm leading a yoga philosophy course, and we have flyers on that here. It starts the 23rd, and it's Sunday night and Wednesday night, 2 hours each, 12 sessions. If you're a yoga teacher, you get continuing education credits, 24 hours. So it's 12 sessions of 2 hours each. And there are flyers here if anybody's interested. We led this, I led this earlier this year, and it was a hit. It was a wonderful group of souls who got together and talked about, what is God? What happens after you die? Is there a purpose to life, or is it random? Those kinds of things. How does karma work? Why does life seem unfair? If God is all-powerful, why does he let suffering happen? Why is there a war in Ukraine if God can do anything he wants? Those are the things we talk about, and I think it's fascinating. So if you're interested in that stuff, there's a flyer there for it. Okay, so for the next hour, we're going to do various things, breath-wise, ratios with breath, a little bit of theory from some of the ancient texts, so you don't think I make this stuff up, pull it out of the air. Let's get started with just a short breathing practice. For those of you who were here last week, you'll remember that we did some of the same ratios. So let's just get started right away with some breathing. So please sit tall. As I always mention, got to be comfortable. Who cares what you look like? I don't. Doesn't matter if you put your legs to the side, if you lean your back on the wall, if you sit into a regular chair. Doesn't matter. Comfort and stillness. And then try to keep your spine tall. So really just two requirements. Comfort, so you don't have to move, and then tall spine. All right, close the eyes. Let's take a deep breath together. Big inhale through your nose. And keep sitting tall as you sigh it out through the mouth. Keep sitting tall. Don't slouch down. Okay, do it again. Sit even taller. Breathe in big. And keep sitting tall as you open your mouth and sigh it out. Okay, a third time, but this time we'll do nostril exhale too. So big inhale, and then through your nose exhale, but keep your crown of the head tall over the base of your spine. And now slow down the inhale and breathe in again deeply. Fill your lungs up. And then control the exhale on your exhale. Make sure that it's smooth and complete. And continue this, but go a little bit more subtle so it's not like a big old inhale and then a sigh. Make it more refined and more controlled, and continue with deep breathing. I'm fascinated with the breath, and I suspect you might become fascinated too when you realize the benefits of it. So deep breathing does wonders for your mind and for your physical body, also for your spiritual nature if you believe in that kind of thing. So as you continue these deep nostril breaths, just become a little curious about how the breathing process works, like the mechanics in the body. So as you breathe, so continue to make it full and deep, complete breaths, but notice what's happening physically. So air, right, is going in through your nostrils, going back into your head through your sinuses, and then down the trachea or the windpipe into the bronchial tubes inside the lungs, and then your lungs have to expand, right, in order to fill up with air. So how do they expand? Well, the bones are moving away from the center, right? Your rib cage expands. And then when you exhale, it contracts and the air goes the opposite way. So just take a minute and be curious about that process. Notice what muscles are involved. Notice if you can become more in control of the process. Do you naturally engage Ujjayi breath, or is that a foreign concept? If it's a foreign concept, constrict your throat muscles, literally. It's around the epiglottis, and so you're feeling the vibrations there. That's yogic breathing, so let's all do that. So for the next 20 or 30 seconds, just notice what's happening. Notice the diaphragm, particularly. Notice your abdominals. All right, so keep your eyes closed. We'll do a very short, formal pranayama practice. And when I say formal, I mean specific. So those of you who are new to to my class, you'll be introduced to a metronome. So we'll start right away with a 6-count inhale and a 6-count exhale. So before you could start now, but the intention here is to make the 6 seconds very smooth and the same energy, the same force, strength. And when you exhale, it's the same strength on second 1 and the same strength on second 6, meaning you're not like pushing out all the air at first, then just kind of waiting for the remainder of the 6 seconds, and then it's smooth the whole time. All right, I'd like us to do some together. So exhale completely. We'll begin in 3, 2, 1. Start your inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Your lungs are now full. Start to exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2. Your lungs are completely empty. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So keep going. It's fairly simple, right? And now some more details while you're doing it. Sit taller. Relax your shoulders. Feel that your shoulder blades are sort of pulling together on your back to help with your tall posture. That also expands the rib cage more so you can get more prana, more oxygen, of course. More expansion of the lungs allows you to absorb actual oxygen better. And then notice if you're clenching or tensing anything else that doesn't need to be clenched or tensed. Sometimes we squeeze muscles that we don't need to, like our jaw or our eyebrows. So make your face really soft. Okay, keep going, and we're going to introduce the concept of kumbhaka, and that's the fancy way to say hold your breath. So we're going to start very simply with just a 2-second hold after the inhale and a 2-second hold after the exhale. Simple. So after your 6-second inhale, pause the breath for 2 seconds, then proceed with the exhale. Then after the exhale is done with empty lungs, pause again with empty lungs for 2 seconds, then start the inhale again. If 2 seconds is super easy, like I know it will be for a lot of us, just go ahead and increase it right away to 4 or even 6. For those of you who are newer to this type of breathing, stay with what you can. And if there's ever any stress about not having enough air, back off and breathe comfortably. It's the exact opposite intention if you become stressed. So we'll do about 30 or 40 more seconds. Okay, finish up your last exhale, and if you're pausing, do the pause after exhale, and then just be still. The foundational concept of meditation is focusing the mind on one thing. So with your eyes closed, we've been focusing on the breath. That's meditation. And now that we're not breathing consciously anymore, I want you to focus your mind on energy. Now that's very vague. What does that mean, energy? Well, each of us will sense that differently. You might sense that you have a vibrational quality, like a physical vibration. That's energy. You might sense a mood or a feeling. That's also energy. You might be a little clairvoyant and can see an aura. That's energy. How do you perceive your vibe, your energy? And just focus on that for a moment. And now for just the last few seconds, I want you to know, don't believe, just know that you're in control of that energy, that you are. Don't question how or why, or I'm not good enough to control my energy. Just know it, that you are in control of your energy. You choose. All right, you can keep your eyes closed or open them, but let's sweep our arms up to the sky and breathe in. And then just draw your thumbs down to your heart and feel that you're like sweeping up energy and then you're pulling it down into your heart. I know it's woo-woo, but do that. Like inhale, reach up and sweep up goodness, and then draw it down as you exhale into yourself, and do it a few more times. Use your breath as well. When you inhale, that's an upward motion. When you exhale, it's a downward motion. Don't for 1 second think your mind is not super powerful. You create lots of stuff with your mind. And then keep your hands in prayer at your heart, or you can touch your heart with your palms if you want, and just take another couple breaths here. Bow your chin if you'd like. You can view this as like an honoring or a positive gesture to yourself. A little bit of gratitude. All right, and then we'll go ahead and just come back. Okay, very, very simple intro practice. There are literally thousands of ways to meditate, thousands of ways to breathe. There's so many. And this text provides a lot of them, the Hatha Yoga Pradipika. But when you get to know the general guidelines and rules for these breath practices, you can customize them and make them suitable for what you need. For example, if you're the type of person that needs more energy, that's not me, but if you're the type of person that needs more energy, practice holding the breath more. Emphasize your inhale and practice Antara Kumbhaka. That means hold the breath after inhale. And do things that are expanding. Like when you do yoga, do a lot of back bends. That's opening. We call that Brahmana in nature. That's energizing. So if you're the opposite and you need to tone yourself down sometimes, like I do, it's the opposite of all that. Focus on the exhales. Focus on holding the breath after the exhale, Bahya Kumbhaka. Do more forward folds, calming things. You can customize all these techniques to what you need. It's actually called Ayurveda. That's the science of Ayurveda, taking all the yogic tools and making them appropriate for you. I'm going to say something very controversial. It's never one size fits all. And I'm using the word never on purpose. Never one size fits all. How could it be? There's 7-8 billion people on Earth. Are we all the same? Sure. We're all exactly the same. We all need the exact same practice. Here's your prescription. It's the same for that person. Here you go. No. So learn what works for you. And the more you become sensitive to energy, the more you'll know what's appropriate for you. And then you can start to steer your life. Not only your yoga practice, but you'll know what's appropriate in life. Do I want to go to that party with those people? Nah, I'm going to go anyway. as long as you know that you probably shouldn't, you're aware. Anyway, I'm getting off topic, but the technique, it's what? Oh, squirrel. Yes, it's squirrel. That does happen a lot. Squirrels happen. We do a lot of different breathing techniques, as I mentioned, and Kapalabhati is one of my favorite ones. We do it almost every time. It's the rapid breath through the belly or with the belly. So I'll read a little bit from the smart dude who wrote this ancient text around the 1300s. His name is Swatmarama, a man who lived in India. He was a revered yoga teacher, and he put together this text, and it was in sutra form. Sutra form means it's sutras are short, memorizable teachings. And the reason why they were done that way is because there were no books. And you had a guru had to speak some verses to a student. The student had to remember them, and then the guru would then explain them. So now that we have books and Wikipedias and Googles and things, you have different teachers who have explained those short sentences. And it's necessary to have someone explain it because the sentences are very short. Like, here's the teaching on Kapalabhati. This is all the guy said on it, right? He said 2 sentences. Perform exhalation and inhalation rapidly like the bellows of a blacksmith. This is called Kapalabhati, and it destroys all mucus disorders. That's the teaching on Kapalabhati. That's it. So that doesn't give you any specific instructions, though, on how to do it or what happens if you feel this way. Or that's why you need a teacher to tell you about it, to guide you and coach you through it. And that's why there's pages of text after the short sutra explaining it. So know that. And it's also up for interpretation too. Different gurus and different traditions will explain it in different ways. So let's read a little bit about the explanation of Kapalabhati. Okay, we start off by learning the last of the 6 shat karmas is Kapalabhati. So what that means is it's not technically pranayama. Kapalabhati is actually a cleansing technique. The shat karma means there are 6 cleansing techniques taught here, and this is one of them. Kapal means cranium or forehead. Bhati means light or splendor, but it also means perception and knowledge. Kapalabhati is a breathing technique which invigorates the entire brain and awakens the dormant centers which are responsible for subtle perception. Specifically, the Ajna chakra. Perception, your third eye, or how it's been called in English, is the way that we can see clearly without our own emotions and biases and egoic needs. That Kapalabhati helps with that. That's kind of cool, right? They say it right here. Invigorates the entire brain, awakens dormant centers. In English, it's called the frontal brain cleansing or skull shining breath. It's similar to Bhastrika. Now, you guys have heard me talk about Bhastrika a lot, except that exhalation is emphasized in Kapalabhati, and inhalation is the result of forcing the air out. In normal breathing, inhalation is the active part, and exhalation is the passive part. Think about that for a second. In normal breathing, you intend to breathe in. That's kind of normal. You take a breath, you breathe, and the exhale is like a result of the muscles expanding to open the lungs. And then when you exhale, it's just a relaxation of the intercostal muscles of the diaphragm, and that's the exhale. But Kapalabhati is the opposite. We're emphasizing the exhale. That's why it's cleansing. You're getting rid of carbon dioxide buildups and other gases. This practice reverses that process so that exhalation becomes active and inhalation becomes passive. As described in this sutra, the breathing should be done like the pumping action of a pair of blacksmith's bellows. When the bellows are closed, so you guys know what a blacksmith bellows is, right? It's that thing and it lights a fire. Some of you might not have seen that. You saw it on Instagram? I discovered that my dad actually had one, like in his, like full of dust in the corner of his garage. I'm like, I got to make a video about this. So I got it, and I'm a yoga guru, and he had a fire going. It was wintertime, and I said, this is Kapalabhati, and I went, it's on my Instagram. Louis saw it. So when it closes, the air goes out, just like the lungs. When your lungs close, the air goes out. That's why something has to contract, constrict, push inwards for the exhalation to happen. When the bellows are opened, the air is sucked in due to the vacuum effect that's created. Similarly, when you inhale in Kapalabhati, it should be the reaction of the forced exhalation. Now, conversely, in Bhastrika, which I mention a lot, inhalation and exhalation are equal, and it's stronger because instead of just emphasizing the, you're doing both, which is like, it's like double strength. It's not necessarily a cleansing anymore. It's like a building of energy in the midsection. Another reason why I'm so fascinated about this is because when you learn all the techniques that you can about breath and how it works, and you become sensitive and you practice and you learn and you get better at it, you can then learn to hold your breath for a long time. And why is that important? Well, is anyone an Avatar fan besides me, like the movies? Okay, you've seen the new one, I imagine, The Way of Water, you guys? Only 2 of us in this whole room have seen the new movie? You've seen it? Okay. Good. Okay. I'm going to use that. So there are practical applications of this. I'm not sure if you know how they film things like that, but it's all in the water. They have to hold their breath. Kate Winslet, right? The Titanic lady, she's in there. Did you know that she plays one of the characters? She plays one of the, okay. She was interviewed. I saw behind the scenes. All the actors were asked to hold their breath for 3 minutes. 3 minutes. That's very much impossible for most people. And she explained the process. And it's funny how she explained it, because if you remember in the movie, the water people are teaching the jungle people how to breathe so they can hold their breath. And that was exactly what the breath coaches in the for the crew and the cast and crew did. And Kate is like, and now I can hold my breath for 3 minutes. And we were doing these scenes underwater, 3 minutes. And then James Cameron comes on, and he's a ocean fanatic, and he dives down to the Titanic and everything. He holds his breath for 6 minutes. 6 minutes. Like when I started reading these texts and started to read what they prescribe for breath retentions, like 8 minutes, like that's not realistic. That's for a yoga guru in the mountains who doesn't ever come down to the city and there's no drama in their life, and they practice every day for 35 years. But James Cameron does it. And then I'm not sure, I don't remember the young lady's name who was here last week. She was here 2 weeks in a row, and she's a free diver. This one right here. She does it too. And she was coming to these classes. I can't remember her name. I wish I did. But they practice. So how do you do that? Well, your lungs have to be able to absorb a lot of oxygen. And then your mind has to be calm, because if your mind is if you're creating the sympathetic functions of your nervous system, that's the fight or flight symptoms or reactions. And then your body immediately starts to use all the energy available to protect itself. That's exactly not what you want to do in any of these situations. You want to be able to be calm and zen. Like James Cameron is like the Buddha. Like he can just sink down underwater and not breathe for 6 minutes. That's freaking crazy. I've never actually timed myself. I've never actually tried to do that, but I bet I can do 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes fairly simply, but 6? All right. Wim Hof is another big proponent of this thing. So he teaches a lot of this. I don't know if that's the best way to do it, but practice over time. And it's a team effort between physiology and your mental state. It's a group effort, all this stuff. And I love how modern day life is utilizing a lot of the techniques that the yogic scriptures have been teaching for literally thousands of years. So it's a combination. Remember, it's your physiology, all the physical yoga, get your lungs big and clear and healthy and strong, but also work on meditation so your mind is not going to be freaking out when you're underwater or wherever the situation may have you. And then you can calm your breath down. So Spiritually speaking, holding your breath means you're going to live longer, because we're taught that our lives are measured in numbers of breaths that we have, not in years. And if you breathe super fast, you're going to use them all up faster. If you breathe slow, you're going to live longer. Believe that if you want to, or don't. But you'll also be calmer, and you'll be able to make decisions better, because when you're frantic and breathing through your mouth and just frantic, you're not going to be clear. You're going to be squirreling all the time, like I do sometimes. Squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. But if you're calm and deep breathing, so there are practical applications for all this stuff. Very, 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 very real world stuff here. I freaking love it all so much. There's one more concept I want to share, and then we'll do more practices. Oh, the concept is, wait a minute. Okay, just a little bit more on kumbhaka. The most important aspect of pranayama is kumbhaka. That's retention. That's holding the breath. The manner in which you breathe in and out is also significant, but it is the retention which has to be developed. Kumbhaka arouses the inherent potential in the higher regions of the brain, physical brain. And in fact, it affects the whole brain. Each type of pranayama can arouse a different faculty and body function. Okay, so I'm just showing you that even way back in the ancient days, without any like medical science, so to speak, they knew that holding the breath and slowing the breathing down is so beneficial. The retention after exhale is significantly harder. Our bodies aren't used to that. Usually when we hold our breath, we want to take a full breath of air and hold the breath in. When you do it on the exhale, or after the exhale, rather, it's more challenging, and that's a bigger challenge. So when you learn that, you're going to really become master over your mind. Sure, yeah.
Then after I've held it, is filling my lungs up from the inside, and almost like I can continue to push out. Should we abandon continuing exhalation, or should we hold it at that point? The prana that would have been pushed out during exhalation. Is there a benefit or a technique around that?
That's a very interesting. That's a very detailed and specific concept, and you're absolutely right. There's no way to squeeze your lungs completely out. Like a balloon, you're not going to take a balloon or your lungs all the way to literally nothing, like you could with a balloon. So there will be space. There is space still, but don't force it. It's unrealistic to try to get it all out. And that's why cleansing techniques like Kapalabhati are important, because there's always going to be some residual carbon dioxide in there. That's why it's important to do some of the to really stir it up and get it out. So no, exhale until you can't exhale anymore. That's what I call empty lungs, even though there is still some physical, some air, some space in there. And then pause comfortably without forcing, and then do the inhale again. The oxygen exchange happens. The actual exchange of nutrients, gases, it happens more during the inhale. I guess it's happening a little bit as the exhale is happening, but more during the inhale. And also the yogis tell us that's when prana is absorbed too. Now, medical science doesn't acknowledge that too much yet, but that's when you get energy as well. The very last thing I'll say before we do more stuff is bandhas. To increase your retention capabilities or capacities, we're taught about the three major bandhas. There are lots of other ones. Every time you do a mudra, you're creating a bandha between your index and middle finger, a mudra. But the three main bandhas are mula, uddiyana, and jalandhara. And the reason why those are important, and now this is metaphysical, I can't give you any science to prove this, but when you lift the pelvic floor, when you pull the belly in and up, and when you lower the chin and pull it back a little bit, you're creating a locked container in your abdomen to retain prana, energy. So play with that. I didn't hear James Cameron talk about bandhas at all, but when he's holding his breath, there might be some type of container happening. Maybe it's more mental, and you can do it mentally as well, just like you can do alternate nostril breathing mentally. So when you lift the perineum, the cervical area, lifting, and then belly in and up, and then chin down and back, you'll see it exaggerated sometimes. If you get Iyengar's book, Light on Yoga, and he demonstrates that, it's like That's still Jalandhara Bandha. I think that's a little bit excessive. You can just lower the chin a little bit, and it's almost like locking back the top of your chest cavity, and then Mula Bandha is locking the bottom, so you don't have to wear it's. I call it sometimes a prana diaper. Your Mula Bandha is like a prana diaper. You're putting on a diaper to contain your prana, and then the Uddiyana Bandha is also squeezing and just creating more interaction of energy. So those are done during the retentions. I know in some physical yoga practices we're taught to always engage the bandhas during everything. It's physically impossible to engage Jalandhara Bandha when you're doing a back bend. How do you do that? And when you're breathing in, the belly has to expand. How does it not have to if you're taking in air? How does the belly not expand a little bit? So it's challenging to do Uddiyana Bandha when you're inhaling and holding. You can try, but it's kind of counterintuitive. The actual technique of Uddiyana Bandha, as described here, is done after the exhale. No air, and then that's Uddiyana Bandha. You can't do that with a full breath of air. There are other variations of it that are taught as well. All right, without further ado, I didn't explain our ratios. Well, I'll just explain it as we go. Let's do our Kapalabhati practice. I love playing one of our rhythmic songs to do it, and then we'll move into our longer breathing practice. If you need to shake out your legs, you can. I know we've been sitting for 35 minutes already, so stretch your legs if you need to. If you need to do a little twisting action. Okay, I'll select our fun track for today. Let's see what. Thanks to Nicole, I went and found some new tracks to play with, so it's not always the same song we're using for these things. I don't think you've seen this one, but maybe you have. Does anyone need any more instruction on Kapalabhati? On that? Any of our new friends do you need? Yes? Have you ever done it before? It's breath of fire. Have you ever done that before? Yeah? It's fun. You might feel dizzy. I actually found, I have not read this cover to cover, but there is a section where they explain what happens if you feel dizzy. Want to know what they say? Stop. Stop. Sit still and breathe, and then start again. And that's actually what I always. If you ever feel any stress or anything, just don't force it. This is a meditation. So we use our belly, and when your belly snaps in, that's an exhale, and we go rhythmic. It's going to be extremely strange at first because we don't do that normally. There's a little bit of ujjayi. Do you take yoga classes regularly where you breathe with ujjayi? A little bit, not too much, because you're going to be building a lot of energy. When the belly pulls in, that's a short exhale. The inhale happens, as we've said, just by the muscles just relaxing a little bit. That's the inhale. Then you're forcing the next exhale, and it's rhythmic. And we use a beat to help us go. And we try to keep everything still except for the muscles that do the breath. So diaphragm, you can't really control the diaphragm that much. I mean, when you breathe, you do, but the abs you can control. It sometimes helps if you touch your belly with your hand and you pull it in a little bit when the exhale happens. Every time you pull it in, that's an exhale. It'll be challenging at first, but find the rhythm. And that rhythm helps your mind become smooth and calm also. I might come over and breathe really creepily by you so you can hear my breath. So don't be alarmed if you hear me right by you. I do that from time to time. I scared you last week when I was... I'm so sorry. Yeah. I was right by your ear. I'm so sorry. She levitated for a second, like my cat does when I scare her. She jumps up. I'm so sorry about that. So don't be alarmed if I show up right by your ear. All right, let's get right to it. It'll be like 120 beats a minute, so it's kind of fast. All right, here we go. Let's get to it. Sit tall. Make sure your face is relaxed. Don't scrunch your eyebrows. You got to find the abs. You got to find the abs. And if maybe 10 seconds or 20 seconds is enough, stop, take a few slow breaths, and then start again. Continue to put the crown of your head over the base of your spine. So try not to lean forward or back. Sit tall. Make your chin parallel to the ground. Don't lift it. Don't lower it yet. Shoulders stay relaxed the whole time. Your cheeks and your jaw stay relaxed. We're 1/6 of the way done. Remember, if you need to stop and take a couple of breaths, please do it. Nice. Lewis is getting it. I see it. If you're a visualizer, sense that you're building flames in your belly. The element at your navel chakra is fire, so you're waking it up. You're charging it up. Now, the rhythm is more important than the strength. So if you feel like it's not able to be sustained for another 3 minutes, reduce your strength, like go a little softer, but try to keep the rhythm. Stay sitting tall. Keep the shoulders relaxed. And of course, if you can handle more, do the Bhastrika breath instead of Kapalabhati. And that's emphasizing the inhale as much as the exhale. And I do like to give the options to lift the arms if you really want more energy building. So you can either close the fists and open the thumbs at a V, like a 45-degree angle with each arm, or you can also lace the fingers and press the palms straight up, creating an upward motion, increasing your intake of prana, really. If you're going to do that, try to commit to at least a minute or two of that. Give it a shot. You're doing really well. Keep it going. We're well over the halfway mark now. Remember, don't stress it. Don't force it. Stay calm and feel energy building together. Calmness and energy. Sense that you're cleansing your aura. You can sense that your energy gets lighter, it gets clearer, it gets brighter, even bigger. And the focal point, the center of your energy is now the belly. The Manipura chakra element is fire, the fire of digestion, the fire of transforming the outside world into usable wisdom. You're doing so well. Almost there. We've got about a minute left. You never have to force it, but there is something special about 6 full minutes of this. Intend to feel clean and clear. Remember, you're waking up your third eye at the same time. This is head shining, brain shining, skull shining breath. 30 seconds left. You're on the home stretch. So good. So good. We're close. You're becoming very bright. There's a collective glow in the room. Lots of prana. Last few seconds, like 10, 15 seconds, almost there. Last 5 seconds. Okay, if your arms are up, keep them up. Everyone, exhale. Keep your arms up, though. Big inhale. Now hold the breath after your inhale. All 3 bandhas engage. If your arms are up, stretch higher. Lift your pelvic floor. Pull your belly in. Lower the chin and pull it back. And just feel prana swirling and spiraling in the midsection. Stay with me. If you have to exhale, you can, but try to hold for at least another 8 to 10 seconds. Keep your arms up if they're up. Through your nose, exhale. Everyone exhale through your nose. Another deep inhale. Hold the breath again. Pelvic floor up, belly in and up a little bit, chin down and back. We're holding the breath. We're holding the breath. If you have to exhale, you certainly can, but I'd like us to hold for another 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Okay, sweep your arms down as you exhale, and then be as still as you can possibly be, and just sense energy. All right, stay still. Keep your eyes closed. We're going to move back into our breath ratios, but first, I want you to feel with your mind and your awareness. I want you to feel your belly chakra, that's the navel chakra, and your third eye. I know it's challenging to identify your third eye because it's in the middle of your brain, but just sense the middle of your head and sense the belly and feel that there's like an oval, like a connection, an oval-shaped energetic energy bubble that connects your belly chakra and your head chakra. You can see it as like a spiral, as a cycle, as a swirling stream of energy. Really, really good. All right. Now just stay still. Let's move back into our breath ratios. And for some of us, it'll be challenging to breathe slower and longer. So don't ever think you have to do the ratio that I'm asking you to do. You can do a 5 count inhale and exhale. But for those of us who are able to move a little bit farther, I'd like us to go right to an 8-second breath cycle. And I'd like us to just give that 8-second retention after inhale a chance. So let's do the first few together. Now remember, if 8 is too much, don't do it. Do 6, but I'm going to cue us with 8. So exhale, we'll begin in 3, 2, 1. Breathe in for 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now hold the breath. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold the breath. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now exhale. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. You get the picture. We're not holding after the exhale yet. You're holding. Now you're exhaling. Do it again. I'd like you to try to hold for 10. Once you finish this inhale, hold. See if you can do 10 or maybe even 12. Okay, when you're ready for your exhale, do the 8 count exhale. And now introduce just a 2-second hold after the exhale. Then begin your next cycle. We'll keep the inhales at 8. The hold after inhale, 10 if you can. Remember, if it's stressful, just reduce these to whatever you can do. Okay, the inhales and exhales will stay at 8. We're going to increase the retentions after the inhale and after the exhale. So do a couple rounds with maybe a 10-second hold after the inhale and just a 2-second hold after the exhale. If the 2-second hold after the exhale is very simple, increase it to 4 or 6 or try more. I'll leave it up to you. So for the next 3 minutes, you're on your own. About a minute left. If you can increase the holds, go for it. It's up to you. Do what feels right for your body. Finish up your cycle that you're on now. And then we'll be still. If you have a personal mantra that you use or an affirmation that you like to say, a positive affirmation, go ahead and move into that for just a few rounds. If you don't have anything that you normally say, you can just tell yourself, I am pure, I am calm, I am wise, or I'm healthy, I am happy, I am kind. A few times over and over to yourself. Or a prayer, if you have a prayer, that's very appropriate here as well. Excellent stillness. Let's move on to our backs, please, and we'll finish in Shavasana. If you'd like to turn your heads towards the front, you might have a little more sound if you want that. Otherwise, turn your head away. Now that we're on our back, take a breath and exhale and just get really still and really heavy. And recall again that oval-shaped energetic bubble encompassing your belly and your third eye. And sense that it's just clear and clean, good energy, good vibes. Now make sure your legs are heavy and your arms are heavy and your face is soft. Make sure your hands are soft. Make sure that your face is soft. Have you given yourself permission to feel heavy? If you haven't, please do that. Deepen your breathing slowly. Sense that this prana is now even more clean and clear, that you're breathing in, and your physical lungs are even more capable of absorbing it. Feel that the practice worked. Recognize the difference, the benefits. Start to make small movements with your body. You can move fingers and toes if you'd like. Move your eyes under your eyelids if you choose, or your tongue inside the mouth. And as we normally do in this class, we'll close laying down in case you want to stay longer. So either just lay like you are, or you can make the sign of prayer at your heart or touch your chest and belly. Give yourself that positive affirmation or your mantra one more time. And as a yogi family, let's breathe again. Deep inhale. And you can open your mouth and exhale. Thank you so much for being here. Namaste. Take all the time you need. You guys and girls are amazing. No rush. No rush. You're amazing, Lewis. Sorry to be cliche, but I love this song. Oh God, another yoga teacher playing Here Comes the Sun.